Hello and welcome. We're so excited to have you here for the JS AI Build-a-Thon. For those who are super new here, JS, JavaScript, and we welcome beginners. We are going to be in this together, and we've got 3.5 weeks to go through this. And so excited to have you here. I am one of your hosts. I'm Philippa Burgess. I'm here in the United States, currently on the West Coast, although I sometimes spend time on the East Coast as well. So you've got me in Pacific time, and now I'm going to turn it over to our next host, Sayanti. You want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I'm Sayanti Chaudhary, and I'm from Bangladesh. Currently, I'm serving as Gold Ambassador in Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador. And yeah, that's it.
Excellent. Let's turn it over to Arya.
Hello everyone, I am Marin Jaiswal from India. I am currently in my final year of BTech CSC. So I am a beta at Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, and we all three will be guiding you throughout this journey. I hope you like.
Excellent. And so this includes 9 quests that we will complete over the next, I call it 3.5 weeks, because we kind of have a kickoff today, and then we run for 3 weeks, and then we have the final wrap up on June 30th, and we'll have sort of our celebration. So just to kind of run through the day and what the plan is for this session is we're here to answer any questions. So if you have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We're also just the onboarding. We'll run through kind of what the expectations are. We're going to do this for the first 30 minutes, and then we will be live streaming the official Microsoft Reactor kickoff call, which will start again half an hour, and that will run for about an hour. So that will be our 90 minutes today. And just a little background. Just let's talk a little bit about. So there's 9 quests using JavaScript. There's a GitHub repo. And within the GitHub repo, there is all the instructions. And so part of onboarding, first of all, subscribe to this channel so you'll get all the notifications. Make sure you're notified on the whole schedule so you don't miss anything. And then we will be communicating with you through the registration platform, through our student ambassador emails. So look out for those. There is a whole Discord channel because we are one of several groups who are presenting this Build-a-Thon. And so you can meet all the students and participants who are in this hackathon. And that any other things that we want to add for student onboarding and our participant onboarding? I say students because we're all students. I'm a graduate student, and I just completed 1 degree in human security and geospatial intelligence. That's a geospatial. And I have another degree through the law school in privacy law and cybersecurity. And that builds on sort of a master's in urban planning in spatial data science. And so that's what got me into coding. But everything I love is risk resilience, risk recovery. Those are the things that I'm interested in. So just some of the things I'm building with JavaScript include 3D modeling tools like Cesium. And it's great for Google Earth Engine since I'm a geospatial person. And just web apps and things like that. So I'm also turn it to my fellow co-hosts here. So talk maybe a bit more about your studies and what you like to build with JavaScript.
May I go first?
Yes.
Yes.
So yeah, I'm currently a 3rd-year undergraduate student, and I'm completing my degree in computer science and engineering. So that's all about my study. And with JavaScript, I just love to build different types of websites. My first experience with JavaScript were when I have to build a website and I don't want to it build in 1989 or something. So I have to learn for that JavaScript. And yeah, that's all about me. Now I'm handovering through Aryan.
Okay, thank you. So, as I have founded the MLSA chapter here in my college, Triple IT Dharwad, so I want to build something which can be helpful for the community, in which we can host something and eventually get something out of it. And the main thing is, if you see JavaScript in some sense, many people are not able to understand it, because when the programming journey starts, then people generally start with C, then go for the object-oriented programming languages like Java or C++ or anything. And when they suddenly see that JavaScript in their development journey, they are just shocked, like, what is this? We don't have to directly define any variable. You can just use let and const. You don't have to use int, string, or anything else. So many confusions are there. There is also a thing like callback promises. So many people are afraid of that things. So with these series, we will try to make that easier. And we also have an option of TypeScript. You can also use that. It's in JS or TypeScript, whatever you want. So we will help you to create several things, and to add on, we will be using Azure AI Foundry to let you make integrate some AI things in your project with the help of JS. So that's all for now. Thank
Fantastic. So, for those who don't know what the MLSA program is it's a Microsoft-led organized program for students around the globe to be mentored in computer science, but it's not for computer science majors. I'm not a computer science major. It doesn't matter. I have been so skilled up in my tech skills and my AI skills. I think AI is so much for everybody. So this is a very welcoming space. The Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program is just amazing for students, and I highly recommend it for everybody because I think we all need to be cloud and AI aware and just amazing tools, resources, and such a wonderful community as part of it. So if you are a student, I do recommend taking a closer look at the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Program. You'll get to know us and you'll get to, again, collaborate with other students in the program, sort of through the Discord channel, because we have, I think there's at least 12 cohorts running for the next few weeks on this JS AI Build-a-thon. So maybe we could do a bit of a screen share now and kind of look at what's ahead of us. Like, what are these actual challenges and quests that we are looking to do? So I'm going to do a share screen. That is going to take us to. There we go. Okay, so this is our GitHub repo. So maybe we can start going through this and just seeing kind of what the different tasks and challenges are. So this GitHub repo is something that you will make your own copy of. If you need any help with that, we'll let you know how. So if you don't have a GitHub repo, this would be a great place and great time to set up your first GitHub repo. Again, we are here to answer any questions and just make this whole process as easy as possible, regardless of your previous coding experience. If you have lots of coding experience, there's plenty of opportunities to take it to the next level. So the concepts we'll cover are GitHub modules, the Azure AI Foundry and VS Code extension, Azure AI Foundry portal, AI toolkits, VS Code extension, Azure Developers, CLI, Express.js, uh, Vite.lit, LangChain.js, Azure AI agent services, and MCP tools. I know for myself, I'm really excited to learn more about building AI agents and working with agentic AI. And I know MCP is super popular now, and lots of people are talking about that. So that is also a great skill to have. Before I move down, I'm just going to turn it to my fellow co-host. Do you have stuff to add to these concepts that we'll be covering? Some of the tools that you already know and use, or ones that you yourself are excited to learn and build with?
Yes, yes. So I want to add something upon it. So if you see, there is a quest regarding RAG, Retrieval Augmented Network and all. And there is MCP also, which Philippa said. earlier. So in that, if you use MCP, basically, which is Model Context Protocol. So recently I used that. I basically automated everything which we do in GitHub. You have to send a pull request, fork, or whatever you do. You can just do it by a simple prompt or whatever you want if you used MCP there. And similarly, you can use drag and LangChain and all things like ChatGPT learns whatever you say to them, and then if you ask next question, it basically learns whatever you have said earlier. It has some type of context regarding that. So with RAG, we will also implement that type of thing and eventually get to learn so many things in future. So these are some trending technologies right now. You should have seen many post blogs or various things around the internet. So we will be seeing all the AI bunch going out there.
Fantastic. Sayante, anything to add to that on your favorite tools or what you're
Mm,
excited to learn?
yeah, I just want to add for what you said, like building agents. I also passionate about this thing, and RAG and LLM is one of the best part for building agents. These things are just working the most important part for the agents, and nowadays we can use Copilot Studio for this. We can build our own agent by using some of our own data. Sometimes we can use our pre-built agents, and on the other hand, we just sometimes we just can like more tailored for more tailored response from our agent. We can use different triggers and everything. Microsoft Power Platform is one of the best tool set for this thing, I guess. So yeah, that's all.
Excellent. Okay, so now we're going to come back to how it works. And it is an intensive. It's a hackathon. We are building, and we are here a lot. We've got 18 hours here together that we'll be here. And again, we are very interactive. There's the supplemental platform which you registered on. So there's lots of ways to be in touch with us, whether it's through the chat or if you need to email us with something or questions. We want to make sure everybody is very much moving forward and can complete the quests in front of us. So they called quests. We've got 9 quests as part of this build-a-thon, and it, the idea is to complete all 9 of the quests. But we also understand everybody's quite busy. So you can kind of come in and out of these as your interest and your time allow. So we hope you join us for at least one of them. But come for more, come for all. It's all welcome. So don't get discouraged if you've missed one or you missed a session that you can't just get started. Everybody's welcome, and we're really excited to sort of see what we can do together to expand our learning, to expand our community, and ultimately put really cool projects in our portfolios. So each request has a required activity. So an example is push code after you complete it. GitHub Actions will automatically unlock the next step. Tip recommended path. Start with the first quest and go in order for the best learning experience. So they are designed to build on each other. And to restart, click the reset button at the top of the page. So we've kind of already discussed this, but one of the things we can kind of get into are what are the actual 9 quests. Ariane, I'm going to turn this over to you to sort of run through these.
Sure, sure. Let me present just a minute.
Oh, I can stop sharing. Come back to the studio.
So is the screen visible?
Yep, here we are.
So this is the whole plan we have for you all. So first, if you haven't registered till now, you should register via the link we shared, or you can just use this link here. So these are the people who basically made this repo, and they will be also helping you out. There is a Discord channel. You should have got a link about the same. So you can ask your doubt to your peers, and we will be also there regarding any of the doubts whichever you have. So we'll be starting the quest one, which is build a local Gen AI prototype. Gen AI is basically generative AI, whatever you are doing right now with ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever things. You are asking something based on the patterns it has observed over the training phase of its model, be it Llama or Claude or anything. And so we will learn how to make it. Then we will hop on to this, which you are right now. The kickoff session will be from 9:30 and Bethany and Julia will be there to explain you more about that. So we will be briefing a bit about all the things. So in second quest, we will be deploying a prototype with the help of Azure AI Foundry. Then we'll be making a simple chat interface, and then we'll be integrating the external data using RAG, which I've told you earlier. Then we'll be also using LangChain, which I've told you also regarding storing the conversation memory. Then we'll be building the agents as Santi talked earlier. Then we will be adding the AI agent from an MCP server, like I have used GitHub here as an AI agent. Then we'll be seeing how we will be automating codes with GenAI script and other things. We can also use here Power Automate to automate various things as Santi told earlier. Then we'll be finally being production ready with the templates and other things. And on 30th, we'll be closing off the ceremony. So if you will need a WhatsApp group for your doubt clarification or anything, we'll be happy to make that. So if your response is like that, we'll be doing that. And whenever you want to start the quest, you can just click the start course here and basically do whatever it written there. I will not tell you that much detail because by 9:30, Julia and Bethany will be telling about all the things, whatever you have to do to complete a quest and all. After completing the quest, you'll be also receiving an participant badge in the JSI Build-a-Thon. So these are some of the offerings from us. Over to Philippa or Cynthia, who are gonna continue now.
Yeah, absolutely. This is fantastic. Thank you. And I'm just going to come back to, okay, so we have a question. And this is, hello, is this program about just utilizing APIs to integrate AI into our workflow? I think it's more, but I'm going to let you guys answer that. So again, that question, is it just about utilizing APIs to integrate AI?
No, no, we are not just utilizing API. If it's just a API, then you can do it by yourself or just go to the site, have a API key from Hugging Face or anywhere. Use a transformer model or whatever you want and do it. It's just a bit of 1 hour task or something. But we are currently focusing on the AI trends which are going right now, which you can see MCP, LangChain, or whatever we have told you earlier. So it will be more than that. We have just given you a glimpse because we can't share you all the things that we are restricted right now because the kickoff session is from 9:30 itself. So we are here just give a glimpse of that. After the session from 9:30, whenever it ends, you can ask us if you have any more doubt or anything. I hope
Yeah.
that helps.
And just to be clear, when we say 9:30, we each sort of speak at our own time zone. So we
Yeah,
are starting from morning till night. So I'm here
yeah.
just it's just before 9 a.m. my time, and you guys are at the evening, which I love. It's such a perfect way that we get to start. I get to start and end my days getting to talk to my colleagues. And so actually also something I'm going to be doing kind of on the side is just also doing some additional demos to show how JavaScript can be used in Google Earth Engine and how it can be used in Cesium, which is this really cool 3D modeling tool. So there's lots of other things. And then Sayante and I actually just both finished Code in Place, although we've had very different roles in Code in Place.
Yeah.
I was the student and she was the teacher.
Section lead.
Section lead, yes, you were the section lead, and I was the student who still needed some help at the end. You were so gracious to help me. And I think actually, even these are tools that I just want to say are out there. One of the things Code in Place gave us is tokens that we can use to add ChatGPT into our
Yeah.
code. And so now we can have, I think we get like 1 million tokens that we can use to uh, yeah, just make it so that ChatGPT can answer questions within our web apps. And so, so as we're going through the quests, we encourage you, if you have your own project that you want to build or something you're inspired by, use this as that momentum to get that done. So with that, I have a thing called Cesium. Again, it's this 3D tool that I had started a project, and then I there's a number of reasons I hadn't finished it, and now it's like, okay, now it's my time. I'm done with the spring semester, and now I'm like, okay, I'm in summer semester, and I'm ready to finish this. And so I'm also going to be using this Build-a-Thon to finish that project. And I've been talking to some of my other colleagues who are part of some other tech communities that I'm in, who are JavaScript experts. And so it looks like we're going to be able to pull together a panel of judges outside of our Microsoft Learn community to come in and take a look at, sort of what you've completed and those who have completed the most. And if you have, we'll kind of come up with an official structure for it so that we can bring in some judges and then offer some additional mentoring with people whose entire job it is that they work with JavaScript. And so we just want to make sure, like, again, this is just as empowering and inclusive and just a really good opportunity. And of course, the Microsoft Learn community gives you participation badges. So we're happy about being able to share that with you as well. So we have just a fun time planned. But really, not only do we have, like I said, the quests, but if you are inspired with your own projects or other things that you want to sort of fold in, we can do that. And just for anybody who doesn't know what Code in Place is, Santi, do you want to give us just a little background on what Code in Place is? Because it's the second year I've done it. Still got confused, but this year I was able to complete my certificate in ways that last year it was so beyond me when I started. And I got really far, but I just could not get across the finish line in time. So I was so happy to get that certificate this year. So yeah, do you want to talk about what it is and your relationship to it?
So yeah, Code in Place is a volunteering program for the section leader. Basically, it's not sponsored by, it's just a program of Stanford University, and it just preparing students for the future coding and give them all type of aspects, like from basic to advanced, how things works, how we can make an impactful project by using Python. And there are many challenges, like different skill level person can join and skill up themselves in Python. So for me, it was a great experience. I have almost 16 students, and they all are so good. They all are so close to me, and they were just so friendly and also so humble too. They completed almost all of them completed their certificates, and they completed their projects too. And they built some amazing projects on graphics and other things. I'm so amused by them. Like, they said, like, no, we don't know this, but they built something really unexpected and something really interesting. And it's really a helpful program for students, those who are not still, who are in their advanced level or who are not introduced to Python yet. So yeah, it's open for all. And as a section leader, it's our fortune to help other students in their coding and other things. So yeah, now on Philippa, what was your experience? How was your section leader and all?
Oh, it was wonderful. And both times were wonderful. I think that I'm still new to, like, I've always loved coding in my own way of basics things, but I think what really challenged me is that you're breaking down a problem. So it was more about problem solving, and it was how to take a problem. And so coding is part of it, but really it was more of a thought process of how do you take something complex and break it into its steps and understand what is the before condition, what's the after condition, and what needs to happen. So it was really great to really understand programming, especially not having that computer science background, and yet being very motivated to build things and build and code. And so I definitely got better at Python. Obviously, it's practice is important. And I think I've also done a Coursera class, and I've used it in other ways. And I've done programming classes within my university through spatial sciences. And so you just keep learning and building, and it keeps getting better and better. But like I said, I still found things that just completely confused me, and I needed just extra help. But the section leader was wonderful. The sessions were really great. It is offered every year. It's absolutely free. It's, I think, one of the world's largest MOOCs, which is the massive open online course. And I think it has over, I want to say, 30,000 students, and you all get access to a live 1-hour session each week of the 6 weeks of the program.
This
And then
time,
there's
maybe we had 20,000 students.
20,000.
And
Okay.
almost we have 2,000 section leaders also. Or 1,400. Sorry, 1,400 it was.
Yeah, it's massive. And so you apply in the spring, kind of in March, I believe it opened, or March to April, and then it starts and it runs from April through June. And just really recommend it to everybody to put that sort of on your calendar, on your wish list. If you're, still kind of learning programming and just want to get better or new to Python, it's such a good program, such an amazing community, and it's free, completely free.
Right.
So, as is our program now, we are also completely free. We just want to build community, want to help teach, and just learn and grow our skills and just be better at all of this. AI is coming at us so quickly, and so to just be AI enabled. Although I will say, when
like AI projects are sorry, Philippa.
Yeah, ChatGPT did not tell me that I needed to download Node.js. So I'm not sure, but I believe a lot of us here will need to download Node.js to get going.
Yes.
So I was like, everything looks so perfect. Why is it not running?
I got difficulties when I was just downloading it. It's not running on my local machine. I did everything right. Why it's not running like this? That was kind of frustrating too. And last thing I want to add, like AI, Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador AI Project Showcase is now open for all students. So if you guys just interested for building AI projects and something, you can just join our demo day call on June 12th. You can get more information there. But the main and important thing is you must have one student ambassador in your team as a team lead, or maybe as your team member. It doesn't matter, but you must have a student ambassador in your team so that we can communicate with the student ambassador about the process and other things. So all of the students, we are excited to have you all in our AI project cohort June to August. I hope you all can join, and it must be exciting and interesting for us.
Yeah, that is such a wonderful development, is now that it's not, you don't just have to be a student ambassador, because I think a lot of people perhaps say, oh, I'm not a computer science major, or this might seem like a huge obligation, and I don't know if I have the time for this. So just to be able to sort of come in, and just be part of a project and have someone else kind of guide you through it and introduce you to the program and the possibilities and the Microsoft technologies is, I think, just such an amazing development in the program, and it's exciting. So I'm sharing the screen for our what's going to be the official video, the launch video that's hosted by Microsoft, and it doesn't look like that's kicked off just yet, but that looks like it is coming. So that's where we're sort of sharing our screen until they get started, and then when they start, we'll kind of yield and we'll say goodbye. And we'll let that video play, and they'll do the full formal introduction for this JS AI hackathon. And then we'll all look forward to seeing you again, what was going to be my evening tonight and what's going to be your tomorrow morning in India and Bangladesh. So I'm going to wrap it up here and just turn it over to Sayante. Do you have some additional sort of words of welcome as we wrap up our portion of this?
So yeah, welcome to our just Build-a-Thon, AI Build-a-Thon. And that's it. Aryan, you can go on.
So we are excited to have you all with us in this. We will make sure to help you in each and everything, whatever you want. With this, let's wait for the official event. Thank you for joining.
Excellent. All right.
Okay.
All right. They're saying, looking at the,
It's 9:30. It's already been 3 minutes late. They
yes.
should be
All
starting
right.
soon, I guess.
I'll give them a like. They need to show up. Okay, so we'll just keep chatting a little bit more while we're waiting for
Yeah,
them.
yeah.
I'm just super excited about this. I'm so happy to work with you guys and get to know you better. And I think we really kind of cover, multiple time zones, multiple countries, multiple like undergraduate, graduate, Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Beta, and you got Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador Gold. Ariane, we're going to get you there. We're going to get you to Gold. and and then of course Sayante and I are sort of also prepping ourselves on our tracks to MVPs, so which is the Microsoft Most Valuable Professional track. So we'll all kind of do this together. We're really excited about it. But yeah, I think that our team just brings sort of such a diversity of perspectives and countries, and I'm so impressed that you guys can do all this in English. I would not even have a starting point to do this in either of your languages. So I'm very respectful of that.
Mm.
I'm so
You
grateful
will learn
to,
somewhat, I guess.
You're going to
yeah,
teach me a bit. Yes. By the time I get, I'm promoted out of gold to MV. Well, I would say I hope to get to actually MVP while I'm still a gold. But by the time I'm graduated from the Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador program, yes, I should be able to sort of have some foundations.
Sure, sure. So, Auntie, do you know Hindi?
yeah, मैं थोड़ा बहुत बोल
Okay.
सकती हूँ.
बढ़िया, बढ़िया.
मेरा हिंदी अच्छा है, but अच्छा है ना, yeah, अच्छा है, but
Good, good.
I can't write Hindi.
No, it's
Can
all
you speak in
okay.
Bangla?
I don't know. I would love to learn it.
Okay, let me introduce you to Bangla. So,
Sure, sure.
if anybody asks you, what's your name? That means तुम्हार नाम की.
It's easy, I guess. तुम्हार नाम
Yeah,
की. Relatable to Hindi.
Philippa, do you get it?
See, I'm gonna need a little bit more help.
तुम्हार
Na,
नाम
Tumar Nam
की.
K.
K Ki
की.
E.
Ki
E.
He.
Ki.
Yes.
Yeah,
Tumar Nam Ki.
And
yeah.
you will respond like that. Amar Nam, like Aryan said Aryan, and Philippa said Philippa.
Philippa
Amar,
Nam. Namar.
Amar
हमार
Nam,
नाम.
Philippa.
So
My
sorry.
name is Philippa. My means Amar. Name is Nam. Is Philippa. Amar
Amar
Nam Philippa.
Amar Nam Philippa.
Yay!
Yes.
I love it. And actually, so I
Okay.
was reading a book from, it's actually from World War II, and it was for the military about how do you
Yeah.
learn a language. And it was specifically for soldiers to learn German quickly. And they just said you have to spend time with the native speaker, and you just have to repeat what they say. And that's how you learn, is just you have to be with the native speaker. And the native speaker has to let you make as many mistakes as you need to make until you get it right.
Mistake makes you perfect.
Yes.
Yeah, I am hoping to learn Bangla through this series.
Well, I
I'm
think it
also
also.
learning Norwegian in the meantime.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
So
Philippa, you were talking about your British accent or something. Can you
yeah,
teach
yeah.
us something about that?
Well, I don't even speak with a British accent. My parents do, because my parents are from England, so they have a very kind of British,
Yeah,
and I have an all
maybe we
American.
can have them on call sometime.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. All right, I'm seeing movement in the chat. Um,
They just are spamming when the session will be starting, I guess.
Lots of
We are
questions.
having, yeah, Julia is saying we are having some slight technical glitches. We are working on it.
All right. Well, thank you. Okay, good to know. All right. Well, we're gonna just hang out here until we go live on that, and uh,
Yeah.
and
So
chat.
one question for you, Filipa, like not being a computer science major, how you got interest in coding and all?
So two things. So when I was an undergraduate, I just discovered HTML and the fact that, and now let's be clear, I was an undergraduate many years ago, like before all the what you see is what you can get, when you literally just needed to code. And I loved it. I was like, oh wow, I can just write this stuff and I can build a website. I love this. And I just did that in college. And then very soon after, everything became, drag and drop and like you didn't need code anymore. Or you needed it, you still need it, but it wasn't in the work that I was doing. I could do most of the things just without code. Although I'm trying to think about through my career, I also found like we're like putting up a website for a promotion or something. I was always the one who on the team who would build it. So everything that needed to be technically built, I was always the one who volunteered or just got assigned to do that. And then I kind of forgot about coding. And then when I went back to graduate school in my first, we did a big data class, and I didn't understand the assignment. The assignment made no sense to me. I was so confused by it. I spent hours and hours on it until I finally just got so stuck that I called the professor and said, "Hey, can you please help me with this? Because I just do not understand." And basically, we were working in our studio, and it was working with urban planning data. And I had rewritten the entire code, and I'd gotten myself into a dead end, and I was stuck, and I just couldn't get out of it. And he was like, the assignment was just to hit run. And I was like, yeah, that can't be a real assignment. Like, like you can't just. And he's like, you're really good at this. And I was like, well, yeah, like I always love this, but nobody. And I think some of the times there's a gender role, especially. I don't know if it's the United States or other places, but I was never tracked into coding or science or tech. I was always tracked into arts and media. And so I went into arts and media, which is why I'm so comfortable speaking, which now is a benefit in being in tech and science. But going back to grad school, after that, I decided that I was like, I just want to go more into tech. And that was what led me to a second master's degree because I was like, I want to learn, I want to be good at this. I want to learn how to build, and I'm working in geospatial and urban planning. I want to be able to build digital twins and build geospatial worlds that I can do cool things in and do spatial data science. And so I got a full second master's that took me 3 years to really be able to build. And I'm still feel like I'm at a starting point, but there's things I could do really well and then things I'd still do slowly. But I feel like I have one more year to just feel like I'm so competent that I can but I just also feel attacked, like it's always building. Like you just wherever you are, you're like, oh, I can do more. But I have one more year of school to finish my next degree in cybersecurity.
That's great.
So
I'm
That's
does
also
that answer
interested
nice
in
experience.
cybersecurity.
how I found myself on a tech track?
Actually, my brother was a cybersecurity enthusiast, and he also was a cybersecurity researcher. So from his, I got the inspiration basically, and then I love to build things from scratch, like anything, any website or anything. I just build a project on AI virtual mouse, which I built on scratch. Uh, that was really interest. That was the main interest for me, like building things from scratch, and it must be in tech related something. And that was my journey through this 3 year. But firstly, I wasn't so much interested in the first phase of my university. I was like, oh hell, why I am here. Like, I was not catching the concepts well, and sometimes it just being too much boring for me. And yeah, that was it. And I'm also into photography, and I'm interested in air media and arts.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. Julia have sent another link. Philippa, can you open that?
Yep, I just saw that and I'm doing that right now. So we will go to a new link and get, hopefully this one gets
Yeah,
working. And
it's just
Okay.
showing Microsoft Reactor. Let's see when it starts.
all right, so let's come back here and just, all right, so stop that share and we'll come up with a new share. Okay, new link. All right, so I think they're going to take a minute to get the word out about this, so we'll just continue to proceed. But yeah, so I just so sorry, Sante, what you were saying about in the beginning, you just were feeling like you weren't kind
I
of connecting
wasn't
with it.
into CSE in the first place, but by the time I am just feel more interest in this field. But I'm so excited about Aryan's journey towards IIT because I have listened more about IIT and I'm so excited for this. IIT is the IIT is the most like something just big for me. If I am in India, I also try to get into these universities. So let's share your
Okay.
journey.
So if I have to share my journey, it all started when I was in my 10th grade. I joined a coaching and there one teacher told me like there is something like IIT present in India if you want to clear or study computer science, basically do code and eventually get a high package basically. So that's all
Yeah,
what I know at that time. So since I am from a small village, people don't know about the future opportunities which you have after graduation or anything. So I researched a bit about what can we do or what not. But since my 10th grade was there, all were saying like you have to get good grades in 10th so you can prove yourself you are good enough to study for IIT or anything. Then I have to focus on that also and IIT also. So I started seeing some basic maths like unit and dimension and all in my 10th grade and also focused on the IIT part somewhat. But after my 10th got over, I got somewhere around 89% or something. Then my 11th came. So I decided what should I do now? I
The
should,
Microsoft
uh,
Reactor Toronto. I will be sharing session resources with you in the chat, but before we
Okay,
begin, I'd like to
thank.
quickly
I
review
guess
two
we will
items:
continue later,
our
I
code of
guess.
conduct and
Yes,
event
we've got plenty of
guidelines.
time. We're excited for it. I'm gonna
First,
go
please
ahead
take a
and
moment to review
make
our
the
code
full
of
screen. We're
conduct.
gonna sign off,
Microsoft
and we'll see you
Reactor
guys
seeks
all
to
next
provide
time.
a respectful environment for both our audience and presenters. We encourage engagement in the chat, but please be mindful of your commentary, remain professional and on topic. And secondly, our event guidelines. The session is being recorded and will be available on demand through the Microsoft Reactor YouTube channel in about 24 to 48 hours. I'll be sharing the link in the chat for our on-demand content. And if you have not been on a live stream through YouTube before, please note that you must create an account on YouTube in order to have access and interact in the chat. You can set that up now. And if you're unable to use the chat but have questions, feel free to reach out to us through social media or on our website. Bethany and Julia. Hello, hello.
Hey, Alexia. Good being on the show. Hi, Bethany.
Yeah,
Hello.
welcome back on the reactor. And thank you all who moved from one stream to the other. We appreciate it. Apologies about the technical difficulties. But yeah, excited to have this session kickstarting. And yeah, let's get started.
Sure. Sure. Thank you so much, Alexia. As she's mentioned, sorry about the technical issues that happened before. So please, if you had folks joining or are still on the other call, please just share this new link with them and then we'll get started. So thank you all so much for your patience. We're excited to share with you all about this new program. So I have Bethany with me. So Bethany, do you mind doing a quick introduction before we start?
Yeah, hi everyone. I am Bethany, as Julia has mentioned. I am a cloud advocate here at Microsoft, working with the AI team, and I'm so happy for you to experience what we've been working on for the past, I'm guessing 1 or 2 months. So yeah, over to you,
About
Julia.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you. Good having you on the show. My name is Julia. I'm also a cloud advocate here at Microsoft. I work specifically in the JavaScript team. So my team ensures that we have a very clear path for JavaScript developers to build successfully on AI and now on AI Foundry, on Azure and on AI Foundry. So that's what we're going to be learning all about throughout this Build-a-Thon. And I know that when it comes to the conversation of building AI applications, you may be tempted to think that you're only limited to working with Python. I think Python is the most popular language when it comes to building with or building AI. So at the end of this build-a-thon, you'll actually see that there's a very clear path for you as JavaScript or TypeScript developers. It's a really powerful language. So there's so much you can do with this language when it comes to AI. And we are hoping that throughout this program, you're going to experience that firsthand. So we'll get started in the interest of time. So Bethany, could you tell us more about what this program is? Then we can just continue from there.
Yeah, so when you're building a project, the idea was how can we be able to have you go in and build different components of AI into your JavaScript journey. So we realize there's a lot of content out there, but it does not integrate directly to you going in and building your own projects. So we decided to have 9 different quests. We have very unique 9 hands-on quests where you get started with AI as a JavaScript developer. So we start slow with probably just building a small prototype with JavaScript using GitHub models. And then from there, you grow and grow and grow. So we have different components of AI. If you want to do RAG, if you want to do agents, if you want to integrate different frameworks, all these are found on between the first and the 9th quest. And then something else we did was we realized people study well together, right? So we decided to bring in the student ambassadors, that is the Microsoft Learn student ambassadors, to be able to now host different study jams, self-paced in their own communities. But then you might not also be a university student. So we also did it in a way that you can do this self-paced. And we'll be doing it from today, that's the 9th of June, all the way till the 30th. And some of the technologies we'll cover, I've just mentioned GitHub models, but we'll also have other technologies. We'll cover different Visual Studio Code extensions. So the ideal thing is to have Visual Studio Code installed, and then we'll have different extensions such as the Azure AI Foundry extension. We'll have the AI Toolkit extension, and then we'll also be doing the Gen AI script extension. I got to learn about it when we were doing the project, so it's something also new to me. And then other than the different extensions, we'll also interact with GitHub, we'll also interact with Azure AI Foundry, the Azure Developer CLI, and so much more, including frameworks like LangChain.js. So over to you, Julia. What will be the timeline for this program be?
Yeah. I'm seeing an interesting question on the chat from Sarita Gupta. So they're asking like, why is there no Hindi live stream? But so just to answer that, we have this amazing study jam. So you'll actually find a study jam that is right next to you, probably speaking the same language as you. English is not your first language, but we'll get to that. So if you could bear with us as we proceed with the presentation, we're going to talk more about opportunities that you have to interact with your local community going through this program. So as Bethany has mentioned, just think of the Build-a-thon as a consolidation of hands-on exercises for you to start building with AI. That's basically all it is. And this is how the timeline looks like for you between now, that's June 9th, all the way to the 30th of June. So this will be a 3-week program. So as you can see here on this timeline, this is where we are. We're on the launch, and then we're going to go into the setup. So you'll be setting up your environment. As I mentioned, this is completely hands-on. So you're going to set up a working environment and then proceed from there. We'll definitely show you how to go about that. And then you'll see that we have 9 different quests. So the quest is like a challenge or like an activity that you need to complete, each focusing on a specific technology or a specific concept that you need to at least grasp when you enter this workforce that requires you to have some AI knowledge. And so this is basically how we distributed them throughout the 3 weeks. As you can see, we have like 1 or 2 day intervals between the different quests. This is to ensure that you have enough time to really dig into the concepts. And with that, we're actually just going to go straight into the demos and show you exactly how your experience will be. In the meantime, I'll request Alexia to just drop a link to our GitHub repository. That will be your main working spot. So this is where you're actually going to find all the information. You'll find everything that you need to actually get started. Then once we're done with the program on the 30th of June, we are going to meet back here on this stream. And then we're going to showcase some of the amazing projects and some of the cool integrations that we'll all have built. And if you actually build something cool, we'll actually give you some time to actually do some live presentation and demos of what you have created. So stay tuned for all of that, and definitely have a lot more to share. So with that, we're just going to get straight into where you get started. So I see the link has been shared on the chat. That link will take you directly to our GitHub repository. And then the first thing you're going to do, of course, is to set up your environment, right? And so for that, I'm actually going to switch to my browser. So I'm going to switch to my browser. I will land on the repository. So this is where you're going to end up. And then I'm going to walk you through how the setup process is going to look like. So you'll find our repository here. It has the timeline, so you can always be up to speed in terms of where you are and what quests you have remaining. Then you have a short description here of what you expect by the time you're done with the Build-a-Thon. And then you have this section here, the how to get started section. So this section contains the instructions of how you need to set up your own individual sort of workspace, right? And so we have some instructions here. We have this start course button that you need to click on. And let me just copy this. I'm going to right click and open this in a new tab. So I'm going to say start course. This will prompt me to create a new repository. I will select my GitHub account. And then basically you're just going to provide a name for the Build-a-Thon, for your repository. Now I already have one that is called GSAI Build-a-Thon. So I'm just going to give it a different name. And then this is very important. Ensure that you set your repository to be public. This is really, really key because we've designed this repo in a way that it will actually automate some of the tasks for you. And for this, you're going to need to use GitHub Actions. So you're going to have a very limited capacity if you're running a private repository. So for the sake of this Build-a-Thon, once you start the course, ensure that you select it to be public and then create a repository. So once you do that, if I go back on the main repo, you'll see that we have this instruction here. Once you create a repository, wait for about 20 seconds and then refresh your page. Why is that so? As I mentioned before, we have tried to automate this as much as we can. So once you wait for the 20 seconds, what will happen behind the scenes is we have a GitHub action that will actually be updating your README as you proceed. So in this case, if I go back to the repository that I've just created, you'll see that just by creating the repo, I triggered a GitHub action. And if I refresh this page, you will see that I now get this welcome message. So that was this was actually automated behind the scenes using GitHub Actions. It will again give me a quick summary of what to do. And then you have this how it works section. Now this is really, really important because this section gives you the complete view of what you're expected to do for each quest, right? As I said, we've tried to automate this as much as possible. So we have very specific instructions, which if you miss them, most likely something might not work as it's supposed to. So after you go through that section, you now get to see the list of available quests for you. Let me just zoom in. So you'll see we have all the 9 quests that are listed down for you here, and then you can now begin the quest, right? So that's basically all you need to do to set up your working environment. I think that's fairly easy, but if you get stuck, we do have our Discord community. We'll share a link to that as well, and we can always help you out. Now, if you want a summary of these setup steps, we do have a blog that now provides the steps that I've just explained to you in detail. And so you can basically just also access this from the link that will be shared in the chat. This will be able to successfully set up your environment and start working on your repo. So with that, we're now just going to mention briefly about each and every quest, what you expect to complete, all the activities. So with that, I will hand it back to Bethany, and you can just give us a quick overview of the first quest. I'm going to try and find my slides.
Okay, I think I'll share my screen for this. But as Julia mentioned, we'll be having 9 different quests, and she's done an overview of the setup, how you can be able to now get started and set up your environment ready for the quest. As she's mentioned, we have a blog for it, as well as videos that you can be able to go back and look into and now start your quest, right? For the second, no, today is 9th. So today is our first quest. And for our first quest, we have a blog post for it. And in this blog post, it explains to you what exactly you need to do to be able to successfully run the quest. So you have the instructions. So the idea is we're building a local GenAI prototype. The idea is how can we go in and try and build something simple that can just technically respond to a question. So we ask it a question and gives us a response. So for this quest, you will need a GitHub account, Visual Studio Code installed. We're doing JavaScript, so you'll also need Node.js installed. And in this quest, we'll be using the AI Toolkit extension. So those are the prerequisites. It will be in every quest, a checklist of what exactly you need, and also an explanation of what exactly are the tools you're using. So for example, the GitHub model, the reason why you're using a GitHub account is because you need GitHub models, and it explains to you what exactly a GitHub models, how you can be able to get started with it, going through the GitHub models playground, which is similar to most of the GenAI playgrounds you've seen. And then you can now go in and bring in your AI to your GitHub models AI implementation into your application. So you'll build a simple sample.js file where we now implement what we did in GitHub Copilot, in GitHub Models Playground. These names are confusing. So we'll go in to our playground, export. This is the button you'll click. So you'll go in, export your LLM into now your local environment, which is Visual Studio Code, and bring in your code into your application. And then the idea is how else can you innovate around it? How else can you build more things around it? So you can go ahead and follow the instructions and then go in and try something else. So if the instructions is, okay, can you be able to use language model to generate a response from something, you can go in and implement audio models. You can go in and implement images. How can you upload images and get responses from them? So once you go into your code space, the next thing we want you to do is experiment with the AI Toolkit extension. So this extension, it will look something like this once it is installed. And the idea behind it is now how can you use the GitHub models that are on GitHub? How can you also use them locally in your VS Code? And then we'll have an activity. As with any good hands-on practice, it's not good for you to just see and learn, but it's also good for you to do things on your own because it's hands-on. So you'll have a hands-on activity where you build something similar to this, something similar to the Contoso Outdoor Company experience. And the idea is how can you experiment with it? You have an image that you're uploading with the different examples of how a landing page will be. You upload it and it will help you generate something simple. So how can you improve on it using GitHub Copilot to make it better? And that will be it. That will be it for every request, an idea of the different tools, an example of how you can implement them, and then at the end, an activity of, okay, you've gone through the entire thing. How can you now do an activity to ensure you solidify your knowledge? So back to you, Julia. Maybe you can now show us how exactly a quest will look like. So maybe you can also share your screen.
Sure. So Alexia, you can switch back to my screen. And just to summarize like what Bethany has shown, on the blog, you'll actually see like a list of resources. So at the end, remember that this Build-a-Thon is designed to introduce you to this concept. So for example, if you've never interacted with these language models, well, apart from ChatGPT, which I'm assuming we've all used at some point, you can now get in with just a GitHub account, no cloud required. You don't need to like configure any credit card details. With just a GitHub account, you're able to access a very rich catalog of models from different providers, cutting across different use cases. And so with this, you'll be able to experiment with different models, try to change the parameters, see how they respond to different tasks. This way, it will give you an understanding and a better idea of how these models are used in production use cases. And then for each quest, we have the list of resources for you to actually take it a step further and then just kind of access more resources to help you grasp the idea even better. So just to show you exactly how your experience will be when you start interacting with these different quests. So at this point, we have started the course and we have set up our work environment. Now I'll scroll down to the select quest section. Now here, the recommendation is to actually start the quests in order. This is because every single quest at some point builds on top of what you learned in the previous quest. So it will make most sense if you follow them sequentially. This way you'll be able to just add on top of what you keep learning. So let's take this example where I now want to start from the top. I want to build a local GenAI prototype, just similar to what Bethany has described. So I'm going to select the quest by clicking on it. And then once I click on that, it will direct me to the issues. And then this is the quest that I have selected. I want to build a local GenAI prototype. And then I'm basically just going to create this issue. Now, once you hit the create button, you see here that we have some instructions. Again, please wait for about 15 seconds. And then this issue will automatically close. And the README will be updated with the quest that you have selected. So I know this may feel more than 15 seconds in some cases, but kindly bear with the process. As you've seen, that took, I think, a little shy of 15 seconds, and GitHub Actions actually updated the README. So this way, you'll ensure that anytime you're landing on your repository, you have the most up-to-date quest. So if you've seen that we have this timeline, so you'll be working and you'll be able to track your progress, given that your README will always reflect the current quest you're on. So from here, you'll see that my quest was actually updated. I can easily access it from here. So if I hit the README, it will take me back to my repo, but you'll see I no longer have the welcome page. I now have the quest already loaded on my repository. So, and you can see that's really part of the main repo, so on the main README. So anytime I land on my repository, this is what I'm going to see, and I'm going to remember exactly where I left off while working through the Build-a-Thon. So as Bethany mentioned, you have like these different steps. We have this recommendation. Kindly open, like if there's a link or if there's a reference to any external service, try and open it in a new tab. The reason is because you need to have this page available to keep referencing the steps. So like in this case, I want to learn about GitHub models. And as you can see here, it's very descriptive. It's very comprehensive. By the time you're done with this quest, you have like all there is to know about this particular offering. So if I right click on GitHub models here, and if you're using Edge, you can actually just use the built-in split screen feature. So I can split the screen, and then I can have GitHub models running on one tab, and then I can have my instructions on the other tab, and I can just see them side by side and be able to easily just move through the instructions. And as I see them, as you can see, it's very hands-on. So there's almost something that you need to do for each and every step. And then I'm just going to scroll past. So this is the entire quest. And then for each quest, we have this activity section, right? And if I'm moving too fast, just let me know on the chat, and I can try and speak a little bit slower. So we have the activity. So each quest will have an activity, and this is what you need to complete for that GitHub action to automatically progress you to the next step, right? So remember, we're moving sequentially. So now you've done the first quest. So these are the steps that you need to complete. And I'm going to show you how that experience will also look like. I'm going to switch back to my slides. And then the assumption here is that I've gone through quest 1 and I have completed the exercises that have been provided. So the next step, as you can see, the task was to convert a hand-drawn sketch to a website. So the task is I need to have a sample.js file. I confirm that I have it. and it must reference the GitHub token environment variable, which it does. Once you meet the items on the checklist for each quest, then you just basically need to add your changes, you need to commit them, and then you need to push. Once you push your code, you basically wait again for 15 seconds, and then when you refresh your repository, it's going to bump you up to the next quest. So as you can see, this is very customized. So you might find that in your study jam, we have someone on a different quest, and their README will actually reflect exactly where they are in the process. So I hope that gives you like a clear view of what experience you'll have going through the Build-a-Thon. And if, again, we're sharing too much information, you can always come back to the recording and reference this. So with that, I'll hand it back to Bethany. You can talk us through about the next quest. So we won't demo all the quests. We'll just briefly mention what each is about, and then we'll give you guys some time back because this actually starts today. So you'll actually work on the first quest today. Bethany, over to you.
Yeah, so for the second quest, we can still look at Julia's screen. And for the second quest, it's mainly about you being able to move now from your local prototype into now a more advanced, more production-ready prototype. Like, for example, if you want to deploy and share it with your friends, you can do so on Azure AI Foundry. So for this, we have a simple button. You'll see it once you get to the step. Where just when you're on GitHub models, you just click use in production, and you'll be able to now go in and use Azure AI Foundry in production. What it will do is it will deploy a model in Azure AI Foundry for you, a new project based on the GitHub models you selected, and then you can be able to use it in production. So the thing is, when you're building with Azure AI Foundry, of course you need Azure. And there are two ways to be able to get access to Azure. We have a free Azure for Students resource where you don't need a credit card. You just go in and log in into Azure for Students and get access to it. And then the second thing is you can also be able to do the free trial for Azure. It's a 30-day free trial. I'm not sure if it requires a credit card, but the end goal you'll be able, it does, right?
Yes, yeah.
So you'll need a credit card, and it will take you about $200 for you to now get started and build the application. That will be what you'll get in the free trial. I don't think you need the entire $200 for this, but you'll be able to do that. And then the second thing is for this, when you're using Azure AI Foundry, you'll realize you'll be creating a .env file where you store in your keys and credentials from Azure. So one thing you should not is ensure you do not commit secret and private keys into your GitHub repository. We already have a gitignore file that we've already established, and it will ignore your file, but ensure to double check in case the .env file is in a different directory. Ensure to double check to ensure you do not commit your keys and endpoints directly to GitHub. And that's it about the deploy to Azure AI Foundry repo. It's just a simple step-by-step instruction of how you can go from a local prototype to Azure AI Foundry. So Julia, you can talk about the next step.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. Thank you. So if you've noticed so far with these quests, we're taking you on a journey. So we started with, hey, I have not worked with any AI, or I've just been seeing and hearing more about AI, but I haven't actually built something. So where do I start? So that's the first quest, building the local prototype. Then the next step is, of course, you need to scale, right? You need to get to a platform that will allow you to even have some additional services. For instance, do you have the security guardrails in place? Now that's when you come in and move your prototype to Azure. Then the next thing is, up to this point, you will be working with just a script. You'll just be working with a single file with some JavaScript code. Excuse me, and that is what we'll be running. So the next step will be for you to actually now add a UI for this application. So as I mentioned at the beginning, these quests are actually designed to build on top of what you complete in one quest. So this third quest is for you to add a UI for your application, as you can see here on the screen. So what we're going to do is, instead of you adding this from scratch, so writing code from scratch, we're going to introduce you to the concept of infrastructure as code. We're going to introduce you to a tool called Azure Developer CLI, or AZD for short. This will allow you to just pull some sample template code that will allow you to just add like some placeholders for your application, and then you'll come in and do some modifications to make it work. So you'll see that in the quests. Again, we won't go through each of these quests in depth, but the idea here is that by the time you're done with this quest, you will have a simple chat UI that will be able to interact with this prototype that you've built up to this step. The other thing to mention is that this sample code that we provide is very minimal. It's very simplistic. So we actually challenge all of you to go a step further. So if you see any areas of improvement, ensure that you actually spend some time. You can decide that I want to improve this simple UI, so let me challenge myself. Let me use GitHub Copilot, probably in agent mode, to see how far I can go in terms of improving this UI that I've been given. You can see right now you can only add textual input to the app. You can decide, hey, I want to add an image. How can I do that? I want to add audio input. So you can always just challenge yourself to do more than just what the quest actually asks you to do. And that will be the end of the third quest. So at this point, you have a UI that connects to the prototype that you created. So Bethany, what comes next?
Next is data. I love data. So the next step is called RAG. I'm not sure if we are all familiar with RAG, but the idea behind RAG is most of these LLMs, not even most, all of these LLMs do not have any idea about probably your data. So for example, if you're hosting a study jam and you want to get information on that study jam, an LLM might not have an idea of your study jam even existing. So what you do is you add in external data. And in our case, we use a technique called RAG. RAG is a technique that involves retrieval, augmenting, and generation. So what it does is it goes in, takes data from your own database that you provided, augments it. Augment is basically making something better. So it adds your data plus the prompt and gives you a better generated response. So in this example, we have someone asking, what is our company's mission statement? If it's just a simple chat UI, it will just tell you, yeah, I have no clue what company you're talking about, so I can't even tell you any mission statement. But then if you add in additional data, so next slide. So if you go in and add in, oh yeah, good. So you go in and add in additional data. So it's very, the step is very tiny, where now you're going in and adding in a PDF. And the only thing we've changed in the UI is adding in the PDF on top, where you can just click and add that PDF as a source, right? So what happens is when you're adding in your own data and you ask the same question, it will now give you a response based on your data. And the good thing is it will also add in sources to now tell you, this is where exactly I got the data from. And lastly, if you go in and try asking something different, like what is the company's stock price, it will tell you, I have no clue what you're talking about, because the data you added was just an employee handbook that just shows this is what you as an employee should be doing. But we don't want you to use our PDF only. You can customize it to your scenario. So this sample JavaScript code will be in PDF, will be based on you adding in a PDF file. So you don't necessarily need to have the handbook PDF. You can use any PDF you want, even probably your study notes, and try and see if you use it and ask the LLM a question, will it be grounded on your data? And in the spirit of just showing you, the next thing we've added is the different resources. And under the resources, we've added like instructions of how, in case you wanted to add in a CSV file, how can you be able to add that, right? So we have resources at the end of each and every quest tagged further reading, and you can see from there, it will show you, okay, if you want to add additional CSV files or different ways to be able to add in your files into your JavaScript code using RAG. So you can experiment and try it out. And as Julia mentioned, we are all building on each quest. So the next quest is something similar. So what is the next quest, Julia?
Sure. Thanks, Beth. Before we get there, Bethany mentioned that the sample code provided in this quest handles PDF data, but you can do more than that. So come in with your own data. perhaps you have that data in CSV format. If you actually scroll down to the further reading section, we have this lesson 5. It's a RAG lesson that has some code that can help you just work with CSV data. So you can actually just expand, as we said before, do more than what is just provided in the quest. So I'll switch back to my slides. And at this point now, you no longer just have an application that can talk to a model, but now you have an application that can now reference your own data through the RAG technique. And the next step is actually quite exciting. This is now when, let me move to the next slide. So this is now when we get some industry practices come into play. So what do I mean by this? When it comes to building LLM applications, there's a lot of code that you actually need to write behind the scenes to make it work. But now we have these frameworks, AI frameworks, that abstract away some of these complex implementations and make them super, super easy to actually add features to your AI application. So this quest will introduce you to one of these frameworks, LangChain.js. So you will do 2 things in this quest. So number 1, you're going to learn about LangChain.js, a framework that will allow you to abstract away some of those manual implementations. And then you can easily just use the built-in classes to just implement some of these real powerful AI capabilities. And then number 2, on this application that you're building, we're now going to add an extra capability. We're going to add the capability for it to retain the chat history. So up to this point, if you ask that the model through your application, hey, what's my name, after you've just given it your name, it simply just won't know because it's not storing the conversation history. So using LangChain.js, you're actually going to see how easy it can be to tailor and use, as I said, the built-in classes to basically store your chat sessions and have this LLM also reference previous conversations. Just this way, we're making it even smarter. And that's I think it's the 5th. Yeah, should be the 5th quest. And as you can see, we're progressing on just tackling even more and more complex features. So after we do that, we're now done with the AI part of it, just adding like AI capabilities to our chat application. But 2025 was said to be the year of agents. So definitely we do have a lot in store for you when it comes to building AI agents. And I'll let Bethany talk more about this quest.
Yeah, what is interesting is when you're building AI application, the idea is for you to be able to do something for you at the end instead of just having a chat-based interaction with it. And that is where agents come in. So if you've been, let's say you've not been around the AI scene for a while, you might not have no idea what agents are, but if you've been in tech for a while or even starting out, you've seen a couple of automations here and there, where now you have, for example, an automated Teams message that every 3 hours or every day something comes to your Teams. That is an automation based on what probably you need to know at that point. That is the same scenario with agents, whereby the idea is how can we have AI do something for us? And agents is based on 3 different things. So the first thing is giving it a bit of knowledge. So you'll have it have some context or some data for you. Not necessarily, but it's important for it to now be able to reason through and make action based on that. The other thing is adding tools, and we'll technically only cover one tool, which is the Bing tool. Bing is a tool that will help you now be able to go in through the internet and give you responses on that. So we'll add in the Bing tool for you to be able to now go in and look at the internet and come up with the responses for you. And then the last thing is for an AI agent to be complete, it has to have AI. So you need that LLM for it. In our case, I think we'll be using GPT-4o to be able to now have the LLM take that action. Once you have those 3 components, the next thing is now having the LLM do something. So for example, our example is just telling us the weather. So it's using Bing to be able to now go in and tell us the real-time weather of Nairobi or different locations you're in. But you can do more, right? You can think outside the box. You can try and see if I want to add in probably an Azure function or add in logic apps into my application. How can I be able to do that? or if you can be able to bring in different APIs. So for example, you can use the GitHub API to do something for you, right? And then the other bit is you can also be able to think about something called MCP. I'm not 100% familiar with it, but Julia, tell us a bit more about MCP.
Sure, absolutely. Before I get there, something else to mention is what Bethany just described. I mean, you building an agent, you're actually doing this on VS Code, given that you have this new AI Foundry VS Code extension. So you'll actually see the whole process and you're working directly on your IDE. You don't need to be committed on Azure to actually build this. You'll be using this extension, and we're really excited to see you guys interact with this extension. Give us your feedback in terms of how that can be improved. As Bethany also mentioned, we can also not afford to not talk about MCP, given that that is also something, a concept that took the whole internet by storm. So definitely you might not have had a chance to actually build your first MCP server. And that is what this is. So at this point, you've now gone through the process of creating and designing an agent. Now this quest specifically will allow you to build a local agent using the AI Toolkit extension, another incredible extension that just brings this whole AI experience right there on your IDE. And then you're going to build an MCP server using the official TypeScript SDK, MCP TypeScript SDK. So if you've not had a chance to go through any practicals with MCP, this is a really good starting point. And the example that we provide in the quest is that you build an agent, allow it to connect to an MCP server that gives it access to your operating system. So it's able to give you some information about the operating system that you're running on. And basically that will help you just have this overall understanding of what MCP is and how it works. Again, another very relevant concept when it comes to the industry. I know we are almost about out of time, so we'll just quickly go through the remaining quests. I think this is the second last, and then we'll share the next steps for you with all the links that you need to get started. So Bethany, could you just briefly talk through this? I think this is the second last one.
Yeah, this is the 8th quest, and it's interesting because it's just you being able to write a script using GenAI script. In this step, you only need your GitHub model, so you'll use the same token you used in the first step. And this step is just showing you how you can be able to now have a script interact with the model and do something, right? So for our script, we've given it some instruction. It's going to review code for us. And the code it's going to review is the code that we stage. So for example, I went in and I was able to go through and create a new script for myself. And I was like, okay, can I commit this script? And I clicked on commit, and I didn't commit. I did git add, where now you're staging your changes. And I asked the code review, okay, can you go in and look at the staged changes and see what I might be able to fix? So in the next slide, you'll see the reply it gave me. So in the next slide, it shows one, the review of the different code changes. I'm not sure you can be able to see it very clearly, but once you do the quest, you'll be able to see the review. And it's telling me I've added some different components to git ignore. Was that okay? And I'm like, okay, yeah, it was, because it has my .env file and everything. And then the next review is it's telling me this is what your code is doing. This is what each and every step is doing. Probably these are some of the recommendations of things you can be able to do with a code. And that is just a simple way to use GenAI script to come in and have it review code for you. And for GenAI script, it's an extension on Azure, on VS Code. And as I've said, the only thing you need to do with GenAI script is add in your GitHub code token and try and think of different scenarios. Okay, it can review my code. What else can it do right there on VS Code or even outside VS Code? Yeah, and that is our 8th step.
Yeah. Question, Bethany, what you're showing on this slide, is this what we will be building for this quest? Will we be actually building an AI pull request reviewer?
Yes, so it just goes in and checks, okay, these are probably things you've committed, you've staged, I mean. So once you do git add, it stages your changes. So it goes in and looks at the changes you've made and gives you okay, this is the review I have for you. So can you look at this? And then it will now be up to you to reason with it and see, okay, maybe I need to change before I commit my changes to GitHub.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's great. That's great. So you've never heard of GenAI script before, like me. You're like me and you've never really heard of this tool before. This is your chance. What I love about it is the syntax is very relatable to JavaScript developers. So as you can see, it's kind of putting everything together for you, the prompt, the interaction with the LLM. So really, really excited to get to see you guys interact with this new tool. So
Yeah.
the last question.
Before we go to the last quest, I need to shout out to Johan because he's the one who created the GenAI script quest. So yeah, thank you so much, Johan. And yeah, back to you, Julia.
Yeah. And I'm sure he'll also be on our AI Discord channel, so you can always interact with him as well. So on to the last quest. Once you're done with all these different quests, as you've seen, the whole idea is to introduce you to a concept, have you build something, then give you resources to actually dig deeper into those specific concepts. But then this last quest is to now challenge you, right? This last quest will give you access to a list of available AI templates. So at the end of the day, for you to build a complete end-to-end AI system, that will take you time, that will take you resources. So this quest will introduce you to what we're calling the AI template gallery or the AZD template gallery. These two galleries, and I can actually just switch to my browser. So the first gallery is the AI template gallery. As you can see, and as the name implies, this is a list of end-to-end samples that have been created. I've already filtered down to JavaScript and TypeScript samples. So as you can see, we have different implementations. This is fully functioning production-ready code that is ready for you to just pull, customize for your use case, and then use in whatever way you'd want to use it. So this is a good way for you to get started. Since, as I said, it does take a lot of time to piece all the different services together to connect this to work, especially for production scenarios. So you can actually come in here. The quest will guide you in terms of how to access these templates. We have two, the AI app templates gallery, and we also have the awesome AZD templates gallery. As you can see, we have very many use cases. So from this quest, what you will do, you will basically just, let me just go to the quest itself. You basically just think of a problem that matters to you. So this could be a local problem, a societal problem, personal problem, something that can be fixed or something that you can build like an AI solution for it. And then browse through the template galleries and select or find a template that is very close to what you're looking to implement. Then each template has the instructions on how to set up. So at this point, you'll be working and following the different instructions provided for in the template that you're going to select. And then you're going to go in there and customize it to fit your needs. Now, the beauty of this is most of them are actually quite bulky. So like you'll get a full repo with very many folders, very many files. But if you go through the quest that you have provided, you'll actually now have a better understanding of what each of those files or folders mean. So this way you'll be able to easily just go in there, customize it. You can use GitHub Copilot to sort of help you understand more about the project. And then you're going to push that. You're going to push that on GitHub. And then you have this final step where you can submit that as an issue for it to be upvoted by the community. So anyone on this call, by the time you get into the 30th of June, you might have built a really incredible solution or project. So what you're going to do is right here on the repository. So this is the main repository that you will all land on. You can actually go to the issues section, create a new issue, and then you've provided this issue template. So you can come in here and just quickly describe the solution that you've built. Tell us more about how you approached it. If you have a link to a live demo, link to your repository, and then basically just give us like a quick pitch of why we should upvote this. So here's an example of a similar submission. So you come in here, give us the name of your project, give us just a summary of what it does. And then basically towards the end, you can ask your peers, your friends to come in and upvote your project. And then every week will be, or after 30th of June, we'll basically just be sharing like a small leaderboard of which project is the most upvoted from the community. So that's like an exciting way to ensure that the amazing work that you all build actually gets to the community, and we're so excited to see what you'll all build. So with that, we'll get to the end of our presentation by sharing what's next. So Bethany, take it away.
First of all, it's a lot of things we've covered, and we know at the end you'll have done a lot of work. So what we want to do is, once you're done, we need to celebrate, right? We need to have a celebration. We'll have a closing ceremony, yes, but then even you as an individual, once you're done with the project, we'll have a celebration by awarding you a badge. So we have two types of badges. The troop leader is for our students who are hosting a study jam. So if you're a student ambassador, you can reach out to us on Teams. You're both on the student ambassador tenant. If you want to host an event, you can just reach out to us. We'll have badges for you. And then, of course, for you as a participant, once you go in through all the quests and build, we'll also be awarding you with a badge. All the instructions of the badges will be added at the end of the different quests once you're done with the finish. And then things to note. This is like 8 different things that you need to remember. If you don't remember, yeah, you can just come back and refer to this call. Number 1 is the split screen. It's better if you're able to use both, to use your screen as two, right? Use, like, for example, right now I have my StreamYard here and I have my YouTube on the same screen, where you can now have the instructions to your GitHub README and then also have your code on the other side. Number 2 is the security practices. I already mentioned, if you have your .env file with the different codes, ensure you do not commit it to GitHub. So ensure, before you push your commits to GitHub, ensure you read through, check through what you're committing, and do not have any private keys in your GitHub commits. You can do that even using GitHub Copilot. Ask it, okay, is there anything I need to check before I commit? Yeah, it will help you. The other thing is, we have Azure for Students, which is free for students. You have $100 annually, and then we have the Azure Free trial. You can use both of them to your advantage. Ensure you use them and build with them, because it's very helpful for you to be able to implement what you learn. And then the fourth thing is, when you're using GitHub Copilot, try out agent mode. It's very fast and seamless. It will help you go in and help you do code for you and be able to explain things that you probably might not have caught before. So try out agent mode. You can still use the ask and edit modes, but yes, go in and try out agent mode. Try the different capabilities of GitHub Copilot. You get it for free as students, and then if you're using VS Code, even if you're not a student, you get GitHub Copilot as well for free. We also recommend for you to do the quests in order. As you've seen, the one are building on top of each other, and the further you go through the quest, the more complex it gets. So ensure you do them in order for you to be able to have the solid foundation before now you go into the harder bits. Work from the README. We have a disclaimer at the start of every quest, where once you go into the next quest, first of all, ensure you pull in your changes, because once you complete a quest, the README is updated. So ensure you do git pull fast before you go in and work on the next step. And then as you're building, ensure you refer to the README. They have step-by-step instructions, so this will be very handy for you. And then for each quest, as we shared, we have a further reading for each quest. It has the further reading section. All these show you like what resources are there, what can you be able to do other than just what you've implemented in the quest. So ensure you read through that. And the beauty of the resources is it helps you now go in and experiment with more. So if you want to, probably as we mentioned in the RAG section, if you want to work with CSVs, if you want to do more than just what you implemented in the sample code, the resources will be there for you. And the last bit is, this is very important. I feel it should have been like number 1 or like in red. Once you do your project and you're done, ensure you delete any resources you deploy, because once you have Azure resources deployed, they need to be deleted to ensure it does not deplete your credits. Yeah, so over to you, Julia, as you wrap up, because I've had so many people asking, where can we chat? Where can we meet from here? Yeah.
A lot of questions about where to find all the links. We admit and we agree with you. We've shared so much information. And so thanks, Bethany, for walking us through these 8 really key steps. This will definitely set you up for success. So right now you're probably wondering, where do I go next? How do I get started? So we are on Discord. We have a Discord, a specific dedicated Discord channel for these conversations. So we have the link that is on the screen. It has been shared in the chat, and you can scan this QR code as well. This will take you to the AI Foundry Discord channel. And if it's the first time you're joining this channel, this server, you'll get a pop-up asking you, hey, you've joined this server, what do you want to do? Just scroll down and select you want to join the JS AI Build-a-Thon. And that will take you directly to our channel, as you can see here, where I've seen that we have some of you already in the channel as well. As you can see, we have people already introducing themselves. So come in here, introduce yourself, drop links to your GitHub, to your LinkedIn, let's connect. And then we mentioned that we have study jams. So we'll also have some daily conversations. So if you're stuck at any given point, that is where you need to go for any conversations, any questions. We'll have experts come in to take any questions that you have. So ensure that you're on Discord and that you're checking frequently for any program updates that we have. Then on top of that, we have a study guide. There's someone who asked, hey, do we have a timeline for each of the quests that you're providing? So yes, we do have a recommended timeline. So this is also linked from the resources that will be shared. It's on the same repository actually, but we have a study guide. In this study guide, you'll basically get all the information we've shared with you today, as well as a table with the timelines, so with the dates for each quest. And then for each quest, expect to receive a blog and a video guideline as well. This will be updated per the date that is on the corresponding on the corresponding quest. So for example, today is June 9th. The quest you need to complete is building the local Gen AI prototype, and this will take you directly to the blog, which will walk you through what you need to do to complete this quest. So this is where you actually go back to check, see if you're aligned with the dates. If you're working in study jams, think of them as discussions. At the end of the day, by June 30th, we want to have all completed these projects so that we can celebrate all the amazing stuff that we have built. Then there was another question about the study jams. So again, if you go back on the main repository, we do have a section here at the bottom called Get Help. And here you'll find a list of all the available study jams. So these study jams are listed in terms of the country and time zone. So you can come in, find a time zone that works for you. Some don't have English as their first language. So if there's also that language barrier, you can find a community that is next to you and that you'll be able to comfortably work together with. So that's basically what we have. That's the study guide. Ensure you go through it. And then, as I mentioned, we have so many study jams. We have so many community-led events that will be going on between now and June 30th. So ensure you find a study jam, connect with the leads on our Discord. And yeah, if you feel like, hey, I have this community of developers, I want to bring them in, work with them as a group, you can just send us a message and we can work with you to get it set up. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Where you go to get started is this one link. This link will take you to the main repository that we have been showing you throughout. And basically, this is where you'll find like a link to all that we have discussed. On top of this, ensure that you join us on Discord. This way we can have that conversation, we can have that community around what we're building. If you like the repo as well, ensure that you give us a star. Bethany, have we left out anything? Do you feel like there's a question from the chat that we should address before we wrap up?
There's one question from Rainy who's asking, per quest, how much time should you dedicate to like each quest? Yeah, so I'm not sure. For me, I guess for the earlier quest, it may take even 30 minutes. but then the more complex it gets, it can get up to 1 hour, right?
Yeah.
I'm guessing that's
so I think
much.
it depends. Yeah, it also depends because, as you mentioned, you can get through a quest in, say, 30 minutes and you're done because we've provided like the code snippets and everything. But now this depends with how you want to learn. For example, I'm a huge fan of using GitHub Copilot to learn. So if I find a piece of code, I'm being asked to add this to my application and I don't really know how this works, how it's supposed to work, I just use Copilot to help me explain or just to expound on further concepts. So if you factor in your learning style as you're going through these quests, I'd say that fairly giving it an hour to just go through all the resources. And then, as we keep saying, the real value is in the resource section. So if you're going through this as part of a study jam, you can also share this with your group leads, ensure that we have some speaker materials as well that are shared on the blogs. So you can also decide that, hey, let's have a session to, let's say, tackle RAG as a concept, and then go through the resources. We have amazing samples. Then take some time to just, dig deeper into these concepts. So I would say this would vary. You can easily get through the quests and move on with your life, but the whole idea is this should spark that interest and then give you that quick hands-on experience. And then from there, you can now build on top of the different resources that you get. I hope that answers your question, but yeah, I think generally it just depends on how you choose to approach the quests. Let me see. I see we have suggestions for virtual pizzas. It's good. But if you're meeting in local study jams, you never know, anything is possible. So please share these ideas. Are you spotting any other question?
No. Oh, so there's someone asking whether we'll get credits for the quest. I'm guessing.
So if you're a student, you can use the Azure for Students offering. That will give you some free credits, I think, which renew every single month. If you're not a student, you can sign up for the Azure free account. That will give you some $200 credits to consume within 30 days, which is enough for the quest. But we will not be providing any Azure credits for this program.
Yeah, maybe I can also add, for the most part, some of the sessions are just using GitHub models, which you just need your GitHub account to access. For the first, I'm guessing it's for the first quest, as well as when you're using the extensions like the AI tool extension, you also do not need to have your Azure account. So it's not all the quests that you need Azure, but yeah, you will need, for you to complete the entire thing, you'll need to have Azure, and you can access using the students as well as the free trial account.
Yeah. Cool. I'm seeing a question here. How do we register from France? So just to clarify, we have two approaches. So we have the study jam. So this is optional. If you feel like, hey, I want to join a group of people going through the same program, probably you can have some discussions. That's totally fine. But the Build-a-Thon is also designed for you to come in and have that self-paced learning experience. So if you feel like I want to join any study jam, you can also completely do this on your own. We have the study guide that I briefly walked you through that has all the timelines. It links to all the resources, so you can completely do this on your own. Then the other thing to mention is for the study jams, we have them per country, but it's not just restricted to folks who reside in that country. So you might actually decide, hey, I want to collaborate with someone from Sri Lanka, for example. I see there's a study jam there. I can sign up and join. So feel free to join whichever study jam you are interested in. The whole idea was to at least cover as many time zones as possible, so that if you have an urgent question, you're not having to wait for us to wake up, but you have a group that is right next to you that you can have conversations with in real time. Then again, there's the language barrier as well. So if perhaps English is not your first language, you can always interact with a local community that speaks your language. So I hope that answers your question. I know we're way over time, so thank you all so much for sticking around with us. Apologies again for the technical issues we had at the beginning, but I hope at this point it's clear in terms of what steps you need to take. We've given you like just a sneak peek of the experience you'll have. There's someone who's asking for a recording of us doing the first quest. So good news, we've already done that. We've already published the blog. So be on the lookout. We'll update that blog with a video. So that will also help you just have a better understanding of what to do. But in the interest of time, allow us to not do that again right now. But this session is also being recorded, so you can always come back and just revisit some of the steps that we walked through. All right. Do you think we should address anything else? Or, as I said, we're on Discord. So actually, as soon as we wrap up this session, let's all just meet on Discord.
Yeah, let's meet on Discord. If you haven't signed up on Discord, make sure you sign up. All the links, everything will be found on the aka.ms/JSAI Build-a-Thon. Everything you need will be there. So yeah, don't worry. Even the Discord is also there. Yeah.
Yes. And I've just scrolled back to the Discord one in case it got lost at some point. So yeah, you can definitely have this link handy. This is where you can ask any question anytime, interact with the community, share your projects, share your ideas. We'll be happy to help out. So I think with that, we won't keep you guys for so long. Thank you so much for joining. Have a great June building AI apps with JavaScript, and yeah, happy coding. I think we can declare it officially launched.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Should have done that at the beginning, but it's fine.